Blackwood Asylum. The very name sends shivers down my spine. Built in 19th century England, this abandoned mental hospital is now a crumbling ruin. A place where history's most heinous experiments were conducted. A place where the line between sanity and madness was irrevocably blurred. It's also a place where people go missing. And I'm not talking about the patients. On October 17, 2021, urban explorer Mark Reynolds decided to check out the abandoned Blackwood Asylum for a solo livestream. His viewers watched as he walked through the derelict building, joking about cold spots and hearing faint whispers just beyond the range of his microphone. Then, his camera feed glitched. It was 3:07 a.m. when it cut back. Mark was gone. His phone kept recording though, capturing long, dark hallways, doors slamming shut on their own, and the distant sound of what appeared to be something dragging itself across the floor. But that wasn't the worst part. When police finally found Mark's backpack, his notebook contained one final entry. It read, "It's mimicking the comments. Whatever you type, it repeats. Don't engage." Was the asylum playing tricks on its newest visitor, or was something more sinister at work? Let's find out. Blackwood Asylum was constructed in 1842 and by 1844 had been opened as a poorhouse and general hospital. As the years passed, it took on more and more patients with severe mental health problems. By 1897, it was known as the Lunatic Asylum and was designed to hold up to 150 patients. But the asylum's methods were far from modern. Patients were shackled to walls, subjected to ice baths, and forced to sleep while standing. If that sounds like a chilling description of one of hellish medieval dungeons, it is because the next chapter of Blackwood Asylum's history took place in a world much like our own. In 1911, Dr. John Hus Travasky's FFRD began working at the asylum. Trained in hypnosis and a firm believer in the occult, Travasky's performed seances with patients, convinced that some were mediums and could communicate with the dead. He used their sessions to produce fake evidence of spirit photography and wrote papers detailing the results, which were eventually published in local newspapers. Though the true extent of his activities remained unknown until decades later when documents surfaced, revealing the horrific details of Travasky's pseudoscientific experiments. One of his most disturbing practices involved hypnotizing patients and then sexually assaulting them, an abuse of power which would come to light only after his death in 1925. The following year, the asylum closed and the site remained empty except for a caretaker until 1977 when urban explorers discovered the abandoned building. Blackwood Asylum was no longer a secret. It became a popular destination for thrill seekers, but the local council erected fences around the site to keep people out, and that didn't stop determined explorers. In 2011, a group snuck inside and found a time capsule containing a 1960 newspaper article detailing the horrors that had taken place there. But it seemed some people couldn't even stomach reading about such atrocities. A few months later, the urban explorers returned and found the asylum in flames. Arsonists had set fire to several buildings on the site, and the blaze continued to burn throughout the day. By the time firefighters arrived, the damage was done. All that remained were charred skeletons of the asylum's former buildings. And that brings us to 2021, the year of Mark Reynolds' fateful visit. After entering the ruins, Mark began live streaming his exploration, joking about the possibility of ghosts while walking through the dilapidated halls. He explored operating theaters filled with rusted instruments, long-term care rooms with torn-up beds, isolation cells with thick iron bars. Every room was filled with graffiti and every surface was coated in dirt and grime. Then Mark came across the chapel. There he experienced something strange. Whatever he typed into the live chat window was immediately echoed back at him, as if the words were being repeated by an unseen entity. He tried typing random letters and numbers, then actual words, each one forming the last three letters of the previous entry. He wrote out a full sentence, and it was repeated back to him verbatim. Mark believed someone was messing with him, so he ended the stream to check his phone for messages. That's when his camera feed cut out. When it came back, Mark was gone. In his place was an empty wheelchair. The live stream continued for another 17 hours, showing nothing but dark hallways, the occasional slammed door, and that dragging sound. Whatever it was making, it felt like something was toying with whoever was watching. Meanwhile, Mark's phone lay abandoned on the floor, still recording. At 8:14 a.m., it captured what appeared to be a figure dragging itself closer to the camera. It looked like a person in a wheelchair. As the minutes passed, the dragging grew louder, but the figure never came into view. It was as if whoever or whatever was there didn't want to be seen. At 10:56 a.m., a door opened and slammed shut. A few moments later, another door appeared to open on its own. Then the live stream cut out again. This time it didn't come back. Mark's phone was found on the floor near his backpack, which was in turn found near the main gate of the asylum. The battery was dead and there was no sign of Mark anywhere. But before he'd left the asylum, he'd written something terrifying in his notebook. It read, "It's mimicking the comments. Whatever you type, it repeats. Don't engage." But Mark did engage, and in doing so, may have sealed his fate. Did he anger whatever entity haunts the asylum by typing its name? Is that why it dragged his chair across the floor and then approached the camera? Or was there something else at play? Whatever happened to Mark, we may never know. His live stream is still up, comments disabled. But in the last frame, something did appear to type Mark's username in the chat, as if reaching out from beyond the grave to beckon him back. Thanks for watching. Would you dare enter Blackwood Asylum? Let me know in the comments and stay tuned for more creepypasta stories.